Jared Leto is back as the Joker. Michael B. Jordan is on Static Shock. Mandalorian is 1 week away. And we have a very special interview with the president of EGS's grading, comic book grading, here tonight on, I'm so distracted because I'm on Comic Book Canon! All right, I had my iPad on, the audio was on, it was just killing me, it was in my ears, but it's Friday, it's been a long week, so just cut me some slack here, people. I'm back in my little cave instead of the Comic Book Canon kitchen. I'm also back with my good friend and co-host, Christopher. Chris, how's it going, man?
Yo, a couple things that we need to put on the list. One, we gotta have me freestyling, but then I think we need to do a whose line is it anyways type of show one time, just to kind of shake things up. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. We'll make it happen soon, right?
I'm all about the improv, absolutely. I had the improv with my audio coming back from my iPad during this live stream, so why not, right? So I apologize for that. It was a technical difficulty, but I guarantee you the show is only going to get better from here. Is that right, Chris?
Absolutely.
But before we start, why don't you all hit the like, the subscribe, do all the stuff that makes it possible for us to get out there more to other comic book fans, because we love talking comic books every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons if you like what you see, and we're happy that you are here. Super excited to start getting into it. Chris, let's just get right into the news, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. I think the biggest news of the week was Jared Leto's Joker is coming back. That's right. He is coming back. He is doing reshoots for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and honestly, I'm happy about this. I'll have to admit, the first time I saw this photo of our first look of Jared Leto's Joker, I was not impressed whatsoever, but he brings an interesting dynamic to this character. Reshoots are currently taking place with Ben Affleck, Amber Heard, and Ray Fisher. Interesting note this, because they kind of said that they were going to be doing reshoots, and Ben Affleck looks like he's lost about 100 pounds, but all good there. In addition to this, you got to think how they're going to bring the Joker into play here, right? Because he was introduced in Suicide Squad, in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. However, it wasn't fully developed, and we come to find out that that's not David Ayer's cut. He said it is not the movie that he wanted to direct. It's not the movie he wanted to produce and be out there. So there was more story for Jared Leto's Joker that got cut out of that movie. Now they're bringing him back into Justice League, and you can only hope that this is going to be, again, yet another interesting dynamic throughout all of Justice League. Is that right, Chris?
Hey, man, look, what Warner Brothers was doing to these directors early on in the DCEU days is just boggling my mind at this point. So, look, I'll be completely honest. I was not a fan of this rendition of the Joker. If Johnny Zuko's in the audience today, he would know. I called it, 3 years ago now when this movie came out? 4 years ago? I forget. I called him a wannabe coked out pimp. That was my impression of this Joker. And look, is that due to the fact of what was going on behind the scenes? The fact that most of the characters' presence was left on the cutting room floor? I don't know. I think it really had to do with the writing and the what was going on the back end of the production for the Suicide Squad film. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit and sugarcoat and say, oh, I'm super excited about this. I think there's a lot of potential there, though. And I am hopeful, just like I've been hopeful about a lot of things with the DCEU's changes and these things. I think that this could be Zack Snyder saying, this is the Joker that we wanted you to see. I'm going to give him to you. And if that's the case, I'm definitely looking forward to it, but I'm kind of in the seat where it's like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Obviously the acting chops are there. It's just, I just don't think that we were given what we should have been given with the Joker in that Suicide Squad movie.
I mean, this was the lowest point of DC. The Suicide Squad followed by Justice League, in my opinion. I thought it was hot. They're all a hot mess, okay? Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder were producers on Suicide Squad. That was also probably the time that it was a release, was the time that Zack Snyder stepped away from Justice League production.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's all related here. I think nobody's vision came to life. I think they're giving them another chance to do that, and I think you're right that we will eventually see what Zack Snyder thought of the Joker. Because again, as you know, the little Easter egg in Justice League with the Robin suit and the Joker spray painting ha 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 all over it. There's something there, right? We may see that. We may see a Robin getting beaten to death by Joker in this new Justice League. Who knows? But I am personally excited because, again, I'm excited about the Zack Snyder's vision coming to life. It'll be on HBO Max next year. So I'm excited that they're doing reshoots. So more to come, I'm sure. More information about what this Zack Snyder, what his vision will be. And I can't wait for that first trailer.
Absolutely. Hey, I like your little theory too. I mean, wouldn't it be cool even if it's like a flashbacks, right? Of Robin getting and how that drives Batman, right?
That'd be exciting. That'd be really cool. But additional DC news that came out today that we just put in late in our show, we had James Gunn. He on his Instagram showed us our first look of Empire Magazine's covers. There are 2 different covers here of the Suicide Squad. You can see the gang is all together there, hanging out on the cover. There is another version as well that looks a little bit different, but James Gunn is in there too. So hey, more news coming, more DC news coming. I'm super excited, especially it being DCEU related. So Chris, that's pretty exciting. But now we have some more news that is exciting as well. That's MCU related. Is that right?
Marvel. Yep. Starved Marvel fans. Falcon and Winter Soldier news. They are said to be bringing back some early MCU characters. The show's writer-director Coldstad released a statement this week stating, quote, "There are characters from the earliest Marvel movies that are coming back. They are layering them in and reinventing them." No details or names were given. This is it. This is all the context that we have. What does this mean? I mean, we know that, there's characters that we've seen along the way. Baron Zemo and Sharon Carter. We see them throughout the Captain America films mainly. We knew this, though. This isn't any type of surprise. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Who else could show up? I have my theories. I got 2. All right. I'm going to start with the first one. Red Skull. Why not? Right? I mean, look, this character we thought was possibly never going to show up again. We did see him again, though, obviously in Infinity War and Endgame in this obscure role because he was cast out due to the Infinity Stones. But hey, can we see him kind of back in more of his true form in nature and habitat? Possibly, but I'm really, really shooting at seeing the return of Crossbones. Man, Crossbones was set up to me in such an amazing way. Frank Grillo did an amazing job, and then I think we all thought in the beginning of Civil War, what was he in that movie for that fight scene for like 4 minutes, and then boom, he's gone. That's it. No, man, we got to bring Crossbones back. Frank Grillo, amazing actor that did an amazing job. I definitely see this kind of playing out. I see him really meshing well with like facing off with Winter Soldier and Falcon. Definitely some possibilities. Jeff, what do you think? Who could possibly be showing up here?
I would love to see Frank Grillo show up. Like Red Skull is. I would love to see both of those characters, 100%. I thought the way Crossbone died was kind of like It was nice to see him in Endgame, right, in that elevator scene in Stark Tower.
Yeah.
That was nice touch. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go way back, Chris, in my pick, who I want to see back in the MCU. I absolutely want to see Abomination. How cool would that be to bring Abomination back in, right? Kind of going full circle and actually kind of giving a nod to that first Hulk film, which is really not referenced at all. It's barely kind of moved on from that whole thing. I would love to see that. I want to see Hulk go toe-to-toe again with the Abomination. That would be me. I'd like to see the leader too. Like they were teasing the leader when his blood fell on the cut of I can't remember what the dude's name was, but anyways, that would be super exciting. One more little tidbit piece of news of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Chris and I are too chicken to check out this major spoiler of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. A new toy confirms a major spoiler. I don't want to get into that. Chris doesn't want to get into that. I know we're at least 6 months away from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but we're going to try and stay away from this news. So we're just throwing this out there to let you guys know if you're interested to look it up, and don't spoil it for us, even though you probably will.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, look, man, I mean, for this to be pushed back so long and then something like that spoiled by a toy, I'm hoping it doesn't catch us by surprise, because I don't want none of it.
Hey, I mean, it seems like they're going to catch us by surprise if they are harkening back to the first phase of the MCU. I mean, Thunderbolt Ross is probably a good guarantee he will be in it. That wouldn't be a surprise to any of us.
Yeah.
But characters that we just brought up, that would be like an sweet kind of
absolutely, man. Hey, and if they bring back Tim Roth, man, I love Tim Roth. So hey, I like 100%.
Let's do it, Marvel. All right, but moving on, we got more DC news. It was just announced that Michael B. Jordan will be producing Static Shock. That's super exciting. Static Shock, if you all aren't familiar with Static Shock, he was a character in the 90s, actually 1993, from a publisher, Milestone, which is under the umbrella of DC. A live-action film was announced. This character kind of went away for at least a decade or so. One of the announcements that they had at DC Fandom was that they will have a live-action film as well as other Milestone properties. But the big news was Michael B. Jordan will be producing this film. So that brings kind of a heavyweight into the ring. That's a nod to Creed, if you guys didn't figure that one out. But we're bringing a heavyweight in Michael B. Jordan to produce this property. Now, Michael B. said, "I'm proud to be a part of building a new universe centered around Black superheroes. Our community deserves that. Outlier Society is committed to bringing to life diverse comic book content across all platforms, and we are excited to partner with Reggie and Warner Brothers on this initial step." Some of you all may remember in the early 90s that there was a cartoon, Static Shock. So this is great, man. I'm excited about this. I have to admit, I didn't collect the comic, but I was well aware of Static Shock and the other Milestone properties.
Yeah, I think I have one comic in my collection. Never been really too big into it, but what I do know and what I've seen is the fan support for this character. I mean, there is a following out there that I think is going to allow this to be extremely successful. I love Michael B. Jordan, man. Another Oakland native. Just I see extreme success in this. I know my son is already talking about it. He's a huge Michael B. Jordan fan. So I see this being something very, very positive that'll have success for DC. On another type of platform outside of assumably the DCEU.
It will be, and I'm just glad to know that the boy who had 7, good friend of ours, he got my Creed reference. I'm so smart.
Yes.
Also, Tom Tormey, who you guys will hear from later in the show, as you know, the Cosmic Comic History, the Cosmic Minute that he does every week for us. This is great news. Jordan doesn't half-ass anything. I can't wait to see a live-action Static. 100%. You see what he did in Creed. You see what he did in Black Panther. He just brings his all to everything he does. I still have not seen Fantastic Four. Don't plan on it. However, I'm sure he brought his all to that too.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
I'm definitely not blaming him. However, going back to Static Shock, if you're looking for that first issue, now would be the time to get it, I guess, because this was probably a $1 bin book. It's going for $73 raw based on cover prices data and $132 at a 9.8. I mean, Chris, it's just going to continue to skyrocket, probably even further now that Michael B. Jordan has been announced, and then once they make a casting announcement, it's just going to go even higher.
Right. You're in that trajectory state where it's almost, and look, nothing's ever for certain, but we're almost at that point where you can measure the fact that it's going to continue to do this. You should have got it when it was way down here, but what can you do? I do think this has a larger hill to climb in terms of value. And this character has had such a cult following kind of in the shadows that's now coming into the forefront where, and I don't want to compare him to Miles Morales really, but again, it's all a matter of how DC and Warner Brothers on both sides of the things within the comics and anything live action, depending on how they handle him, I think this character has extreme possibility of longevity, renewed longevity for sure.
It's interesting you bring up Miles, aka Spider-Man, because he was seen back in the 90s when he was created as Static Shock as kind of the modern day Peter Parker. He had that whole radioactive element that gave him his powers, et cetera, et cetera. He's a teenager, so good stuff. Isaac Maynard, he loved the cartoon. He's really excited to see us on the big screen, as we are. But you know what else, Chris? We're going to move on from this and talk about another piece of exciting news, because we are super excited to see this on the small screen or big screen, depending on what size screen you have in your house. But we are thirsting for something, and Chris is you're just going to get into it, buddy. Just get into it.
Yeah, man. Star Wars. Mandalorian, we got a new trailer. Look, we're thirsting. So seeing a new trailer for The Mandalorian, it's only 1 week away, guys. I would say that this, for me right now, we've had no MCU. We've had no DC. We've had literally nothing. We've had so much of nothing that I binge watched the all 10 seasons of The Walking Dead over the last 2.5 weeks. That was great. But come on, man. We need something fresh. We need some Star Wars. We need some Mandalorian too. Jeff, we want to roll this video?
Let's do it.
You have something I want. It will be mine. The Mandalorian, new season streaming October 30th on Disney+.
Thank you for being 7 days away. Thank you. I'm so excited. I am so excited. At this time next week, it'll be out. We'll probably be prepping for a show and not be able to watch it, but I am excited. It will be available to us at that point. Right?
Yep. Yeah. We should do a live watch party. I know we can't.
Not a bad idea.
Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be awesome. Oh man, it's very interesting because it's like our thirsting for something like this for so long amidst everything that's going on in the world. It's almost like I just want to crash out and almost like I ran a marathon and I just I'm there, right? It's been such a marathon to get to something like this. And it's going to be so rewarding. I think this next week is going to seem like a month because I'm just going to be wanting to get to it.
I'm going to try and forget about it and be distracted by things like Barat too. I want to see that. I'm sure a lot of other people want to see that. So I'm so excited it's here. That the ebony blade busting out of a TIE fighter. And I mean, come on, I can't wait. They showed some cool imagery, but let's just get this thing started. Bishner, oh my God, 7 freaking days. Yeah, man. We are just as excited as you are. Look at this. Look at this, just this beautiful poster that came out. This is the season 2 poster. Okay. All right, we're geeking out a little bit too much, even though we geek out a lot on the show. So that's all we have for the news this week. A lot of exciting stuff. Again, things to be excited about. Things are starting to quench our thirst a little bit. We won't be as thirsty next week now that we'll see The Mandalorian. And then shortly after that will be WandaVision. So, again, let's keep the news coming, guys. We'll keep talking about it. We'll have more to talk about next week. But this week, right now, we have a very, very special guest that we're bringing in today. It's Tony Trombetta from EGS. It is a new, relatively new grading service, comic book grading service. So, very happy to have him on. Tony, how you doing, man?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going, Tony?
All right.
Now, before we start, are you excited about The Mandalorian?
I am.
Okay, good.
I'm stoked, man. I can't wait.
All right, I'm glad we brought you on then, because that's the answer we wanted to hear.
Yes. Man, I'll say, Tony, we talked before. I've got to know a lot about your, company over the past year or so. And again, very happy to have you on today. Very humbled to have you join us. So obviously, we want to talk about expert grading service in your company. But before we get into that, let's just dive into a little bit about you and what got you here. So can you just kind of tell us about, your love for comics, what got you into comics and in the hobby itself?
Oh yeah, well, it all started back when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, getting into comics, which was a long time ago. But I've, mostly been, reader, collector for a very long time. And, as everybody knows, there was a big transition when CGC started and this whole, getting over to the graded stuff opposed to just the regular people putting their own grades on things. So, a little bit of my background is basically, worked in a comic shop for probably my first, 5 to 7 years, cut my teeth doing that. My grading was taught to me by, of course, the owner of the shop back then. Kind of showed me the ins and outs of grading. But again, that was back then, which now is a totally different animal.
Right.
So I had to, learn and understand the new style of grading. When I felt that the need to open up EGS. So that's why we are very transparent in the fact that, I was taught by the Overstreet grading guide. That's how, I was taught how to grade by that standard. And that's the standard that EGS uses. So, we make that very well known to people. So there's no guessing on, how EGS does things. And, I would suggest, anybody that knows Chris in his channel, he did a video, when was it? A couple of days ago it came out, Chris. On how to grade a comic. If you guys want to kind of get a feel on how EGS comes to a grade and how they grade a book, I would suggest watching Chris's video. We obviously are a little more detailed about it, but Chris, you give a really good outline on how we do things and how we come to the conclusions that we do. And we felt that it was, that was one of our pillars, was to be transparent and to let everybody know how we do things, why they're getting their grade, how we got to that grade. And again, it doesn't mean you're going to agree with us all the time, right? But at least this is how we did it and this is what we saw. And absolutely. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Real quick, I just want to shout out to the audience. You guys, if you have any questions, Tony's here to answer them. I see one from Candicius that we'll ask for you once we get through the interview. But again, he's here to answer questions. He's making himself available to talk about his business. And speaking of your business, obviously you gained a lot of experience working in the comic book shop and went from there. But what did you see that was missing from the market that kind of gave you the inspiration to launch EGS?
I would say one of the biggest things is, one, the non-transparency of things. The way that, to me, you're treated as a customer by these big entities. It's more like, hey, we're not here for you. We're here for us to make a ton of money, and, it's our way or the highway, and that's it. I felt that there was a better way to do things, a more transparent way to do things. And I felt that, there were also things that you were paying for that I felt you necessarily shouldn't be paying for, that they're making money on. And that, and who wants to wait 2-3 months for a book? I'm a collector myself, and I don't like my book away from me for more than a day, really. But we felt that having a more reasonable turnaround time, so you're not away from your book as long, was also very important.
Absolutely. You know, Tony, you talked about transparency. I was going to ask this as the next question, just diving into that a little more. First off, I absolutely agree. I think in anything that anyone does, especially business, there needs to be transparency. I think consumers on the consumer end sometimes forget that they hold so much power because their purchasing power is what drives companies. You talked about the transparency with EGS. You talked about, and I'll just show right here, you know, I talk about this book a lot, the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. They show a very detailed system. You were just speaking to this about how this is really a core of how you guys grade your books. I wanted to ask you, you know, because I truly believe that there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, spending the money to, you know, get their books graded by CGC or CBCS. And even though, you know, nobody's going to deny here that, especially with CGC, there's such a industry standard right now in the go-to, you know, the demand is there for the CGC. It's shown on the market. But do you believe that the lack of transparency behind closed doors with these other larger companies is one of two things? One, do you feel like it's going to evolve and become more transparent as time passes? Or two, do you feel like they're going to, you know, try to keep those doors closed as much as they can, which might inevitably hurt them in the long run?
That's hard, because I think, you know, that's a question for them. I don't know how they think. I can only speak to whereas what I believe and what my company does. And I believe that everybody should have the right to at least know, you know, what we're looking at, how we're grading their book, and know that, you know, you're getting graders notes with every single book under a 10. It could be a 9.9, a 9.8, and you're still going to know why we gave it a 9.9 or a 9.8. Not, oh, I get my book back, it's a 9.8. Well, why wasn't it a 10? Well, you're never going to know, right? I mean, so, you know, we felt like all of this was, you know, necessary for everybody to have. And whether they're going to be more transparent, man, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But again, you know, they are such well-oiled machines, and, you know, I mean, the money that these guys are making, I don't know if they would ever feel a need to do that. I don't know. I hope they would. Again, Chris, you know, we've talked about this. I'm all for a one standard. I'm all for it's all the same for everybody across the board.
Yes.
You know, I wish we had that. You know, I wish that, you know, frankly, that all our comics, whether it was ours or CBCS or PGX or whoever, you know, I wish they were all about the same money on the market. You know, I mean, because, you know, what really hurts me as a new and up and coming is that you've had these guys in the industry for at least 10 years, and CGC, it's God knows way more than that. They're already in and entrenched and a staple in the industry, and everybody's, you know, already made them the standard. But I mean, I feel that a lot of it also comes down to, hey, you know what, you know, my book is going to be worth, you know, more in a CGC case than an EGS case or a CBS case or PGX case. So, you know, I just wish it was more on the merit of the company. It's the company's merit that makes the grade and the price of the book the way it is. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, the people set the market. So, you know, all we can do is just keep doing the best we can every single day, keep doing the right thing every single day. And, you know, years down the road, you know, I'm sure, you know, hopefully we'll be up there with everybody else. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you keep having a philosophy like that. That's comforting for consumers. If you're just joining us, we have Tony Trombetta, president of EGS. They are a relatively new grading service for comic books. So Tony, you know, because it's crazy that we have to say that transparency is kind of unique in your industry. But on top of you guys being transparent in your grading process, your grades, why you grade things, what else distinguishes you from your competitors?
Well, listen, I think the customer service is one. That's always going to be one. On top all the time is customer service. Two, the consistency in the grading, okay? Because again, we have our standard. It's a very laid out standard that, when you know what you're doing and how to grade by that, it's very consistent. I would probably say other things are, we're saving you, turnaround times. We're saving you, you're not away from your book for a longer period of time. The customer service, the overall experience you're going to get with EGS is much different. Okay. We don't believe in a membership fee, right? Why? Even though granted, I get it. Once you pay the membership fee, you get a credit on your books, but why should you have to come out of that out of pocket up front? You might have to buy groceries one week, man. You might have to, put gas in the car. Whatever the case is, we feel that there should never be a membership fee. You should choose who you want, and you shouldn't have to pay for it. That's a big thing about us. Also, we don't charge you on the value of your book. We don't make any money on because it's a Hulk 181 or it's a Venom 27. It's the value is the value. The cost is the cost. There's no, extra fee because 181 is worth $5,000 and the one you just got off the shelf might be worth $1 or $5. Okay. I just think that, that those are reasons. And just to show you, I have a couple here that will show you kind of the difference between us and the other guys. We don't believe in a 1-2 label system to where, it has to be a blue label for your certified. It has to be a yellow label for your signature. We give you the options of color matching, doing colored labels, doing custom labels to match your book. You have the option. You don't, the colored labels are $5 extra. If it's a custom label that we're doing for you, that we're adding a certain, effects into, it's $10. But you don't have to do that. You could get the standard blue, the standard yellow for free that comes with the service. But I'll just kind of show you. I brought a couple along here that we just did that are going to be shipping out in this case. So you can kind of see this is like this is what we call the gradient label. It's a $5 colored label. And as you can see, it really makes that comic stand out. As you can see, it's, same size, same everything. It's everything is displayed on the label. It's just a different color, right? It's just a different, something that's really going to make your comic pop to where, whether you're showing somebody, whether you're putting it on a wall, putting it on a stand, however you want to do it, when you're showing somebody, people are going to be, wow, what is that, right? I've got this one. I'll show you another one. This would be a custom one that we did, that we just did. As you can see here, see it good there. That's got the all the little hearts in there to match the book. And as you can see, all the information is on the label. And, Chris, it's the correct information, which is important. Right, Chris? So there you go. There's that. And here's one of our signature books. And as you can see, you don't have to just have that signature yellow label. There is the signature label on this book here. as you can clearly see here, up here, you can see the signature series there in the bubble, so you know it's a signature series book. Also, you know, it's signed by the artist on the label. This is another one of the custom labels. This is a $10 label as well. But again, you know, I mean, it's your choice. And, you know, we just felt that, you know, why should something have to have a color to mean what it is, right? I mean, I never really understood that. And especially now with the age of the artists, how all these artists are just doing such magnificent covers. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think it really gives you the opportunity to accentuate that. And, you know, I mean, we're under the belief that to us, it adds to the book. Now, there's some people that say it takes away from the book, but we feel that it actually adds the book to where, you know, when you're showing somebody or you're, like I said, you're hanging it up or you're doing whatever, man, it just complements that book. So, you know, I mean, CGC kind of does that a little bit because they have the characters on their book, but they're still the same color. They never change the color. It's just having a character on there. So, you know, we felt that, you know, having the color change to match what you want was a really big thing. That to me is going to set us apart from everybody else as well. I mean, besides, you know, I don't want to get away from how good we grade, how consistent we grade, because I think that's really important too. And I don't want the colored labels to kind of overshadow that. But it is an option, and we felt it was a great option to give people. And so those are, you know, those are some things there that we feel are different, that we do that the others don't. So
I think you really hit on it. And by the way, I still have, I saw what you did with some of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1s, the silver and the gold variants, and how you did the custom labels for those. I am saving my issues of those to send out to you because I just, that's where, see, and this is where you have a niche market here with the custom labels. And it's not like the custom label defines your company. It's an option.
right.
So, you know, and with that being said, I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to customer service, and also how you just brought up the fact that you don't want to overshadow the fact that this is about a grading service. I think a lot of people might forget that, look, it's not just about the case. It's about what you're doing with the book that's in the case, and that's giving it a certified grade. And yeah, Tony, I mean, I think from my experience with what you're doing, I appreciate the transparency. I think there's great consistency there, and I think people can really appreciate that. And going back to my last question, I do feel like there's going to be more transparency in the grading industry. We know we had CGC come out with a video a couple weeks ago where they gave us a little bit of taste. They dropped some crumbs, not too much though, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's room to evolve, and this kind of leads me into my last question. You know, when I look at the grading industry, I still see it as being it's an infant. You know, it's in its infancy. It's only been here for 20 years. Comic books, at least the age of the superhero, has been here for over 80 years. You know, so there's a lot of room for this industry to grow. And yes, you know, we know that CGC came off the ground running, but we forget how much CGC has evolved. CBCS has evolved, whether that's in their casings or their labels or just the service that they provide. I personally think that this industry is going to evolve to where the healthy competition evolves with it. With that being said, let me just ask you, being at your company, where do you see EGS evolving, say, within the next 5 years?
Well, obviously, we are going to evolve, in my estimation, to having a little different product. I mean, I can foresee us having a different case in the next 5 years. You know, we are in development right now on a case. So, you know, I see us having a different, you know, a different case in the future. But I mean, listen, you know, I would be happy to where in the next 5 years, if whoever is talking about comics or a grading company, you know, EGS is going to be just in the conversation, right? I mean, because, you know, so many people right now, when they talk grading, it's CGC, CBCS, PGS. And, you know, I would hope within the next 5 years that EGS are going to be in those conversations. You know, I foresee us, you know, in the next 5 years being able to get out there to cons and other things to meet everybody and get our names out there to where, like I said, we're just coming on the conclusion of our second year coming here in January. And, you know, we've only been able to go to a couple conventions. So, you know, besides social media, you know, that's our only platform to let people even know that we're even here. Never mind, you know, how we do things and what our product looks like, right? So my thing is hopefully within 5 years that, you know, we're going to be known, right? We're going to be in those conversations with these other guys. So
let me just make it clear too. I don't know if we said, but you've only been EGS has only been in business for, you know, a little over a year. And, you know, before I even spoke with you the first time or even knew the man behind the curtain, I remember how I came about EGS. And look, I'm involved. I'm on YouTube, you know, involved in the community. I'm on countless Facebook groups. And I'll tell you, you know, I learned about EGS by word of mouth and people sharing it. And I will tell you over probably, you know, the last, you know, well, shoot, it's already probably over the last year, really. I have seen and heard more and more talk. So I can already, as a, you know, as somebody that's very much a fan at this point of the service, you know, I already see that uptick happening. And, you know, so I definitely, you know, encourage you and you guys to keep doing what you're doing. I truly believe with all my heart, there's a market out there. And for all the viewers, I just want to make it clear. I don't BS, you know, if I talk about a product, you guys probably know me. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Look, you know, EGS right now, look, you guys got a tough competition out there. We know what CGC is. We know what CBCS is, but I'm very, very optimistic with your company, with the product, and where you guys are going to go in the future.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm humble, truly humble. Thank you.
Absolutely. I applaud you and try to, you know, mix it up and do something a little bit different on top of being transparent and putting the customer first. I think that's admirable. And I'm excited to see where EGS goes. A lot of other people are excited about this. There's a lot of questions in the comments. We're going to try and get to every one of them, everybody. So let's start off with Candesius. I think that's how you pronounce it. What was the earliest comic you, Tony, can recall grading, and what was your favorite comic you enjoyed grading?
The earliest comic I've graded, as age-wise, I'm assuming the age.
Yeah, I would think that's age. Yep.
I've done a few We've done some Golden Age. I believe I've done a Golden Age Wonder Woman. I don't remember the number. It was a Golden Age Wonder Woman. It was also a Golden Age Lone Ranger. I remember that. And as far as my favorite comic to grade, I'm probably gonna have to say I would probably say Daredevil 1. I did a Daredevil 1, and that was probably just my favorite, just because it's probably the most expensive book that I've come across to grade and handle. So I was really, you know, proud and excited to do it. So I would probably say that book was my favorite.
What was the grade on that book?
I want to say a 4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Not bad.
Right.
Not bad.
Not bad. I mean,
I love. Any of us would love having that in their collection.
yeah,
Absolutely.
So Bishner, we're gonna ask this question from Bishner. Now let's try. You know, we're not on a 3-hour show here, so let's try and keep it concise. But so Bishner, he loves everything that you said. But what's your opinion of First? Meaning, what's your appearance of First versus Canada?
Oh, guys, get your sleeping bags and everything. We're having an all-nighter with this.
I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, wow. You
don't have to answer that either.
Listen, there's definitely we do not have enough time to get into that subject because I can go on and on. I mean, I think me and Chris had a little conversation and we were on the phone for like an hour and a half and we just scratched the surface.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I'm not gonna get into what I think. You know, we go by what is really what we do mostly our stuff from Comic Realm. We feel that they're pretty decent in their the way they interpret things. But even them, I might have a little problem with sometimes. But that's just my own personal opinion. So we don't have enough time for me to get into.
Thank
that.
you.
We really.
Bishner, we love that you asked that question, but we have other stuff we have going on the show too today. By the way, the boy who had 7, he says he likes 9.8s. Of course he does, because he has at least over 100 of them.
He had 100. Does.
I don't know if you follow him, but it's incredible him showing, like, he had a book a day for like 3 months. Is insane.
Nothing wrong with that.
What's that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's definitely nothing wrong. I think we're all jealous. But anyways,
yeah.
So Joseph Pantalon, why are you seeing security tabs on the sides? I think he was referring to when you brought up your specific case.
Yeah. Okay, so these cases, okay, right here, why you're seeing these security stickers is because we use something known as a comic skin. Now, what we do is we have to modify the comic skin to make sure they are foolproof and seal-proof, to where that if you want to get in, like cracking a CBC S slab or CGC slab, you have to crack it to get it open. Well, this one, you have to go through the security seals to get it open. And we make sure that, we have 2 layers of stickers on the sides of these things. So to where when you want to get into it, you're going to know, or anybody is going to know, that slab was tampered with, right, and somebody tried to get in it. So that's what we had to do for the cases that we have now that we're offering. But again, like I was telling you, we're getting to the point here. Hopefully, we have something in the design phase right now. So, our newer cases is going to be more maybe to what everybody else is a little more used to, where you're going to have to crack it out. But I like our product now. What we have, I think it's really good, and you have to start somewhere, right? So we felt that doing this, and by the way, it's a lot of extra time and money to do what we do to these things, so you guys will have a secured case. So in the future, when we do make our own, we won't have that. It'll just be something like, the other companies, to where it just comes together and you have to actually crack it out. So, hopefully we're hoping maybe sometime next year we can launch that. I'll tell you, it's a very slow process to do these things. But we have our fingers crossed that, maybe next year we're going to even have something even a little more different. But anyway, to answer your question, that's why we do the security seals. Is the security seals is for you have that security on your book.
Excellent. All right. Bishner does have a comment. He loves the color matching. That's an amazing touch. Again, you guys are the only ones that do that. I mean, CGC does that to a point, but you guys go all out there. I mean, it's pretty cool. So Isaac Maynard has an excellent question. Will the color of your labels be different if the book has had some restoration done to it? As we all know, CGC does the green. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
No, it will not. It will say on the label that it is restored, and it will say in the bubble it's a restoration. So you will know. But that doesn't, again, we feel that doesn't mean you have to have a certain color label. Yes, do we have a label color for restoration that's a basic color like the red, the blue and the yellow? Yes, if you have a restoration book, it would be green. But we all know, how many of you dread the green label, right? So again, we don't feel like you have to have a green label just because your book is restored. You're going to be able to see on the label very clearly that it's a restored book. But why do you have to just have a green label? You could have any one of our colored labels to choose from if you like.
Nice. That's great. Bishner, he asked a really good question. Actually, would you need representation to confirm it's a certified signature on the cover?
No. We do not require a COA. If you want to include the COA, fine, but we do not require it. You do not need one.
Excellent. All right. Looks like this is the last question here from Kid Collector. Would I be able to send in a custom art to get slabbed?
No, we just do, at the moment, we're just doing comics. But it's up to you. I mean, if we've had a couple of requests before how, some people with some sketch covers were not necessarily wanting it graded. They just wanted it, in a slab. So what we would do in that case is where the grade number would go, we would just put art in there, right? So, I mean, if you're just looking for, a piece of art to go in there, we're not going to grade it or anything, but we'll encapsulate it for you and put art, on there for you if you're interested. There you go.
I got an example here. So for this book that I did the custom cover on, Thor #1 blank cover variant, custom art drawn on there. So you're saying that if I sent this in, so would you be able to give it a grade number, or would it default to the art category?
And by the way, that's Simon. Is that Simon's comic book right there?
This is Simon's commission. Yes,
he's asking what label would our commission get for that piece. So,
yeah, no, we would treat that just like any sketch cover, like the other companies do. We will grade the book. We will authenticate the signature if it's signed by the artist. If it's not a published artist that's doing the sketch cover, then we would ask that they send in proof of their signature for us to authenticate that was their signature on their sketch cover. But we grade the sketch covers just like we do the regular comics.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome.
And
I like that question.
Isaac corrected me, actually. CGC does purple labels for restoration, not green. Green is for something that's missing from the book. That's my bad. I made a mistake there. But, yep, you are correct.
Yep.
Tony, man, this is great. For all of you who are watching on this replay, we have this in the link below. Again, this is Tony is the president of EGS, their expert grading service. You can check them out at egscomicsgrading.com. Tony, man, we really, really appreciate you for stopping by. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll be watching you, man. I'm really impressed with what you do and your kind of the perspective you have going forward with it.
Thank you, guys. It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me on, man, and reaching your audience, your subscribers. And again, we're not hard to find. You've already given our web address. You could go there. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can DM us there as well if you have any questions. You can call the shop, which is on our website. You can call us. So we're very easy to get a hold of. We love talking to you guys. We love answering your questions. And again, I really appreciate you guys for giving us this platform to get out there. So we really appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Stay safe. Take care. I'm sure we'll be in touch soon. Thanks so much, Tony.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay,
All right. Man, that was great. That was
awesome.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to get a CGC or CBCS representative like this. Tony was so accessible to us, showed us what they're doing, and again, they're bringing a different flavor. It's unique to the market, and I'm very excited for them. And I have some books in mind that I think I do want to send to them, so I probably will. Anyway, so
Indeed.
That was the interview right there. Moving on, though, we have something we do each and every week. Chris, what is that? Each and every.
Oh man, what's hot? What's not?
No, you're skipping over the Cosmic Minute.
Oh,
Tom Torby, if you're still in the chat,
man.
he's not going to be happy. Not going to be happy. However, we are going to. It's okay, Chris. Don't be so hard on yourself. Tom's a nice guy. So yes, we have Tom Torby here each and every week, giving us a juicy little nugget of comic book history. This week does not disappoint. It touches on a kind of a sensitive subject called fridging. It's kind of a ridiculous name for a serious issue, but how about this? Check it out, and we'll talk about it on the flip side.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Torby from Cosmic Comic History, and this is your Cosmic Minute. In 1994's Green Lantern 54, the vile and villainous Major Force killed, crushed, and closed Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, Alexandra DeWitt, in a refrigerator. Alexandra died in that issue, but it also gave birth to the term women in refrigerators, or as legendary writer Gail Simone called it, fridging. Fridging has come to describe situations where someone close to our hero is killed off, maimed, or wounded in a gruesome manner to elicit anger from our protagonist. Fridging is often seen as a trope for lazy writing. Rather than developing a relationship between our hero, villain, and a third character, killing them off gives our hero the anger he needs to push on and defeat the villain. The deceased, maimed, or injured person is often forgotten about entirely within the story. Gail Simone has noted on her website, Women in Refrigerators, that there exists a clear disproportionality between the number of men and women who've been fridged. Whether it's Alexandra DeWitt in Green Lantern or Sue Dibney's rape and murder in Identity Crisis, critics often point to the concept of the disposable woman, a character created to be fridged so our hero can yell, "No!" as loud as he can. The term has crossed mediums into the film and game industry, with critics noting the trope's use in Deadpool 2 and the God of War franchise. Gail Simone and others have brought awareness of fridging to many in the industry, and while progress is being made, it's still a long way to go. That's all for now. Be sure to check me out on Instagram at Cosmic Comic History, and until next week, be well and stay safe.
Thank you again, Tom, for bringing us that juicy nugget of comic book history. Kind of a dark nugget, I'd say. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah. Dark and cold, man.
Yeah, but it's interesting how, Gail Simone has taken this on and be like, hey, why is it always the women that have to kind of give some sort of inspiration for our hero to go after and make this wrong, right, or what have you. It is very dark, and it is unfortunate that this happens mostly to women.
Yeah, kind of playing devil's advocate, you can look at it to say, like, we live in a world where women, are the ones more than men that become victim of predators, so to say. The male predator victimizing women is prevalent. But I think overall, when you look at the bigger picture here, it is an issue of one. When you're telling stories, even in comic books, you want to see more female characters, whether they're superheroes or they don't have superpowers at all, but that actually stand on their own too. And I think that's a very feasible and a feasible issue to address, because I think the bigger issue of this leads back to that whole, the women have to be the damsel of distress. It's always the women that are being victimized that, like you said, Jeff, give the men the incentive to be like, you will not, get past me, the man. And I mean, look, I have my Conan books. You could pull out probably any issue.
Let's do it.
Pull some random, I don't want to bend my books, issues of Conan out. Look at this. We got Conan number 29. What do you have here? You have the big burly man. Look at the woman. Oh no, Conan, help me, save me. I'm victimized, right? And he's blocking her. Stand back, man. Right? What do we got? Some other. Here's number 30. Here he is. She's, oh no, and here I am to destroy the monster mammoth bat. I mean, just I can dig. Look at this. Here's number 60.
Is this 3 for 3? Are you serious?
Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, so now look at her. She is really on the ground back there, and he's stand back while I slay the lizard thing with the man.
That's crazy.
Whatever, right? I mean,
all night.
I'm not exactly. So it's really prevalent, that women are to be the victim while men are the saviors. So I get it. I mean, hey, I will say, I don't know, for those that watched the Cloak and Dagger show, I enjoyed it. It was okay, but there was a lead female protagonist whose love interest, spoiler, was fridged.
That's right, actually. Good point.
Yeah. So hey,
wow.
I mean, it's I just wanted to give a shout out there.
You look at Tom Tormey says in here, John Wick's dog. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Also, but it is a majority of women. But another example where it's a male was the death of Robin, Death in a Family.
Yeah.
Yep. People actually voted for him to die, which was crazy.
Yeah.
They paid, they paid. I don't know, was it a toll or so? I don't know what they called it back in the day, but you had to pay what you voted. It is interesting, and it lends to again, we are in an age now where it's very important women are empowered, because for a long time they haven't been. I have a daughter. There's no way I want her growing up feeling that she needs to be timid, or she has to watch what she's saying, or watch what she does, or have to look over her shoulder all the time, or be judged as anyway. So this is very fascinating, Tom. I'm glad you brought this to light. I'm glad Gail Simone has brought this to light, because she has a website based off of it. She was kind of appalled that this happened, and you do see it a lot. But hopefully things are they're not going to have this lazy writing where this is the kind of their inspiration to go out and go get the bad guy and what have you.
Right.
So,
right, indeed.
Anyways, that was our Cosmic Minute for the week. We will have a brand new one with Tom Tormey. He is in the chat here, as he is always every week. But please follow him. The link's down below. But please follow him down below at Cosmic Comic History. Each and every day he gives juicy nugget of comic book history, and it's what I look forward to. I think he releases them 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I look forward to it each morning, and he never disappoints. That's our Cosmic Comic History, or comic Minute for the week. Now, Chris, what do we have next?
Oh, now I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about these hot comics flying off the shelf.
That's right. We have the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Cover Price's data. This is something we do each week. Cover Prices releases their top 10 hottest comic books of the week on Monday. We have our show on Friday. We like to talk about these top 10 hottest comic books of the week. And Chris takes 3 books that he finds fascinating from this list and gives a little bit of he dissects it and gives a reason why and what to expect moving forward with them. So, Chris, with that being said, here are the top 10 hottest comic books of the week. At number 10, we have Vengeance. Number 1, the first appearance of America Chavez. She is only getting hotter here. Number 9 is Green Lantern. Number 20, the first cameo, Jessica Cruz. No face reveal. I believe it's her hand. Number 8, we have The Boys, Herogasm. Number 1, first appearance of Soldier Boy, who will be in season 3 of The Boys. Number 7, We Live. Number 1, the Dustin Nguyen 1 in 15 variant. Number 16, we have The Walking Dead Deluxe. Number 1, Gold Foil. Number 5, we have Static. Number 1, we talked about him earlier in this episode. First appearance of Static. Number 4, we have Justice League. Number 50, first appearance of Jessica Cruz as Green Lantern. You see her as a Green Lantern. Number 3 is Static. Number 1, the Collector's Edition. Number 2 is Mad Max Fury Road Furiosa. And number 1, is Ecto Kid. That's right. Chris?
Ecto Kid. Yeah, hey, big shout out to the indies this week, man. They were really dominating up there. Multiple books. I always like to give a shout out to indie books. I know, Jeff, you've been reading some hot indies lately, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited about this book. It just came out this week. This is my read of the week. It's Scumbag #1. Rick Remender, Louis LaRosa. Art is absolutely fantastic. The story is just so whacked. I absolutely recommend this to all of you except for Kid Collector.
Gotta wait a couple years there.
Kid Collector probably already has it. He's reading it.
I know, right?
But I loved it. And I love Louis LaRosa's art. Fantastic. Anyways, but moving on. So our top 10 hottest comic books of the week. Every week you pick 3. Chris, let's just get into it, shall we?
All right, man. I mean, so much goodness this week. It was tough to pick, but starting off with number 3, man, I gotta go with Vengeance #1. First America Chavez. Man, is this book just done a thing? First off, there is speculation. We talked about this last week that this character might show up in Doctor Strange 2. With that, 106% increase in sales. But here is the icebreaker. $770 for a CGC 9.8. Wow. I mean, look, this is blowing my mind. And I always talk about these things about, ebb and flow of the market. We know that there's hype around this, but look, America Chavez has been sneaking. She's been sneakily getting hot without this type of speculation. And I think it goes to say that we are in a very unique time right now where a lot of these newer characters that have been introduced over the last, say, 10 years or so are really starting to pick up for multiple reasons, whether that's because, we have other properties going on, like say with Miles Morales and with the video games and in animated feature films and so forth, to where it's just we are clinging to a next generation of superheroes, right? So it's much more than just a brand spanking new, this character might show up in a movie type speculation. So although that speculation, of course, is driving this, I don't see this book being something that's going to really crash hard on the opposite end of the slope. But it drives me wild because I picked up my copy, I want to say maybe, what is it? 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, for literally $1. And look, this is a near mint. I don't think it's a 9.8. I could give it a press and clean. I'm going to estimate that, on a good day, it's a 9.6. But I mean, it's just crazy to think about how these books get recognized and you see this growth. And I say this will be my final talking point on this book. I talk about this a lot too. There's a lot of naysayers about these modern books. Oh, that's, I'm looking at a $700 9.8 in this book. I'll never pay that. Yeah, look, I would never pay that too. Yeah, you probably missed out on this book, and there may be dip in ebb and flow with this book. I don't think this book is at a point where it's going to hold value, say, like an Ultimate Fallout 4. But guess what? If we get this character to show up in any form that's even close to how Miles Morales has shown up and been solidified, if the properties that America Chavez shows up in and it gets solidified, that right there is going to push this book right past up, and it's going to push a 9.8 way past $770.
I see her being a Miles Morales type. I don't see her hitting that peak like he has so quickly, only because, I mean, Miles Morales is an amazing character. I love him, but he's a Spider-Man, right? And that goes a long way. Yeah. She's a brand new character, and she's great. Female, diverse. I love it. I love the direction they're going with her. Very strong, independent. But she's not a Spider-Man. She's a new character that's blazing her own trail. And I don't think she's going down anytime soon. And we will see her on whether it be the small screen, being still in the MCU, or the big screen. We are going to see her, no doubt.
Right.
But anyway,
Right. And again, you know, you gotta give it to these properties. Into the Spider-Verse was done so well. You gotta give it to the properties, but you also gotta give it to the comic books, continuing to keep this character stories fresh in the comics. And I've said, to your point, Jeff, which is a very good point, I've said that it's tough to get fresh characters, modern, fresh, new characters to have longevity. You know, so but look, we're in a changing age. I think this is the time for these types of characters to be done right, to where we definitely see the longevity work for them. So
it's an exciting time because we are seeing these new characters and a diverse set of new characters all over from all, all walks of life, which is fantastic. But anyways, moving on to our next.
All right, number 2. This is another very interesting similarities here with Vengeance number 1. Justice League number 50, the first Jessica Cruz as Green Lantern, though. Okay, right? Keep that in mind. I have multiple copies of this book. I have I also have the variant, the John Romita Jr. variant. I haven't checked the market on what that one's doing these days. I'm not too fond of that cover, to be quite honest. But I picked this book because this is another one that just I got these books. I'm almost for certain that I got these books in 50 cents or dollar bins as well. Matter of fact, I know for a fact that I got the John Romita Jr. variant in a 50-cent bin from my local shop, Boys of Summer, but I'm pretty sure I received 2 copies of the standard cover A in those same bins, if not those bins, the dollar bins in that same shop. Same or similar situation to America Chavez. You have Jessica Cruz, just her popularity is becoming hotter and hotter. I haven't read too deep into the Green Lantern's run, but what I did read, I thought they had something good going on there. But look, you got to bring in the factor into Jeff's point. You know, you have the Green Lantern mantle behind this character, where you have like the Spider mythos and the Spider-Man mantle behind Miles Morales. You got that here with Jessica Cruz. This is a situation where you can easily bring in these different Green Lantern characters and have such positive outlets, just like Jon Stewart, even back in the 70s, he already had, you know, a main protagonist Green Lantern. It worked, and it's working now with Jessica Cruz. 114% increase in sales with 51 copies sold. I mean, that's big if you think about it. $235 for a CGC 9.8. Still, look, this book to me, what makes this a little different than, say, the Avengers number 1, 2 is I think this book has a much more valid long-term increase to hold a long-term value, even if it's not skyrocketing, you know, up to say like a $700 point. I see this book, I see its slope increasing very slowly over time. And that's very healthy for a modern book.
Yeah, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also the first notion or appearance of not the appearance, but the first notion that there are 3 Jokers too.
Yes.
So it's kind of like it's got 2 things going for it, which are
right.
Going to make it a high value pickup, especially once we see Jessica Cruz in the HBO Max Green Lantern series. That's going to be a big deal. All right, so moving on, Chris, to our last book, the last book you wanted to take from this list. What is it?
All right, how to get some indie love. And look, I mean, what's special about this book and why I picked it is kind of different. It's unique to myself. I have a copy here, but it's not the copy that's hot. And that's the Walking Dead Deluxe number 1 gold foil variant, guys. I did not come away with that gold foil variant. That's going, it has a fair market value of $75 right now, but it was last week. It was going for $180 for a high sale. Wow, that's crazy. But guys, I got myself a copy here of the standard. I do believe this is the cover A, a really cool cover. But the reason why I picked this, guys, is I just binge watched all 10 seasons of The Walking Dead over the last like 2.5 weeks. Crazy. Don't ask me how I did it, but I did it. I've never been really a zombie fan. And I never got into The Walking Dead, but I was just sitting there, couldn't sleep one night, had Netflix on and said, you know what? I'm just going to start watching this. I watched the first episode and I was hooked. And man, I went out and I got this copy of the deluxe #1 and I went and ordered myself the volume 1 trade paperback because I just want to start reading it from the get. Let me tell you guys, I know I'm years behind, but The Walking Dead, man, hey, what a franchise. And I can't wait to open this up and read this too. But what this book is doing shows me that The Walking Dead isn't going anywhere. Really, that's kind of what it's telling me. There is such a cult following behind this title, behind this franchise. I know that the show is having its final season with the 11th season coming out next year, which is going to be a 2-year, 25 episode season. I know there's tons of hot books. I don't know what this gold foil is going to do in the long run. You know, I think I talked about this really the last couple of weeks where, you know, you see that initial takeoff with some of these variants and then it dips, but it still hovers to a nice fair market value. I mean, $75 for a brand new book variant. Yeah. I mean, that's solid. And look, just The Walking Dead, man, so much for this franchise in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the show may be going away, the first show that started this whole thing, but they're going to have films. They're going to continue on with the offshoots, right? The other series that they have going on. Walking Dead's not going anywhere. And they're going to be able to incorporate these older characters from the books as well. They'll pull them in some other capacity. Like Daryl was never in the original book. They made him for the show. I'm sure they'll find ways to pull from other characters from this, the original run, to bring into the other shows. So Walking Dead's not going anywhere. The popularity of The Walking Dead's not going anywhere. It may not be as hot as it was like 5 seasons ago where that first issue was through the roof. But again, Walking Dead is not going anywhere. I'm glad you binge watch that, but you'll never get that time.
Indeed.
So anyways, all right. That is our top 10 hottest comic books of the week based off of Cover Prices data. We'll have a brand new list next week. That's why this is all so exciting. Anyways, all right. So moving on. This is our Q&A, guys. Ask us questions. We got some people here still hanging around. It's been a long show. We really appreciate you guys. One question we do have, and that is from Isaac Maynard. I have to go back, scroll back, and find. He asked it to me, but Chris, we're throwing this to you as well. Hey, Jeff, what is your favorite story arc to come out this year? Isaac, I have to tell you, it is absolutely 100% Firepower. Speaking of, Robert Kirkman, creator of Walking Dead, he created Firepower with Chris Samney. I love that book. It's 4 issues in, plus there's a trade paper. There's a paperback that came out before issue 1 in the free comic book day to kind of introduce you to this character, Owen, the lead character of Firepower. Can't recommend it enough. It's been such a great read. I know Kid Collector's into that as well. Chris, what's your favorite story arc to come out from this year?
Yeah, I wish I was reading more current books. I've been catching up on a lot of old Marvel stuff for the most part. So the only 2020 books that I've read are Venom, Thor, and Amazing Spider-Man. And I really loved Venom, but what's happened this year isn't what I loved most. I actually thought that the whole Codex, let me not get into that. The virus, that's a whole other thing. But I thought the whole virus thing was just kind of, and I'm a couple issues behind still, but I think I stopped at 27. So I was like, this is kind of overhyped. But I will say, I'm really enjoying, and again, I'm a couple issues behind on my Amazing Spider-Man. I'm on issue 47. I really like what's going on. It's not necessarily that I like it as a story arc, but there's something going on in the background where there's a villain or an antagonist that you don't know who they are, and they're playing games with Peter, and they're bringing in other antagonists, and something's going on, and it's been going on literally for like over a year, and we still don't know what it means. and I've really enjoyed that because it's kept me. Okay, what's going to happen next issue?
Yeah.
What's going to happen next issue? So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I don't know if it's going to tie into anything Venom at this point. I'm kind of hoping it does, but we'll see.
So you're talking specifically about the villain Kindred, am I right?
For the Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read it, but I know who it is now. I spoiled myself. Coffee Breath. What's up, y'all? What's up, Coffee Breath? Thank you for joining us. Tom Tormey has a question here. Why is Ecto Kid #1 going? Why is that #1 in terms of the top 10 hottest comic books of the week? I believe there is movie hype. There's Clive Barker. I cannot remember the story, but there was news that came out that they're potentially looking at Clive Barker's association with Marvel in the 90s and the characters he came up with, and I think people are speculating that it is Ecto Kid. That's why. And I saw Tom Tormey, I saw your comment about you buy Ecto Cooler over Ecto Kid. Not as healthy as just buying the comic book, I'm sure. But I do remember Ecto Cooler. Back in the day, collecting Chaos. His favorite story arc, hands down, is the Joker War. I gotta admit, I read Joker Wars. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way. I feel a bit let down from the
I only read #1 first, so don't give any spoilers. I forgot I even read that. No spoilers, please. I'm still waiting on my previews order.
I will say I'm a bit let down. Collecting Chaos, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you thought about the ending to that. It was kind of, I don't know, very, very kind of just, I don't know. I expected more from it. I liked the build-up, and then it was like, okay. But that's cool. Anybody else want to tell us what they're reading these days as well? We'll be happy to talk about it. And please send your questions in. Happy to answer them as well. Had a great talk with Tony from EGS. So if you guys haven't seen that, I really would kind of urge you to watch this. They're a unique grading company that just came on the scene about a year ago, and they got some good things happening. Hey, Jeff, where did you get that really cool Spider-Man poster? I would love to get that and hang it up. You know what? I got this as a gift from a friend. Carmen Doy gave this to me. It was like a moving gift. She gave me, and I love this thing. And by the way, it's popping because I got a nice light popping on it. But I love this thing. I don't know where she got it from, and I wish I could tell you. Maybe I could search for that and let you know next week if you remind me. Bishner, I got to agree. It was good, but not what it was built up to be. I do feel like there was a lot of exciting build-up. There's a lot of cool moments, really sentimental cool moments, Chris, that I'm not going to get into for you. But there's really kind of moments where you're like, this is sweet. Isaac Maynard, I think Joker War was very good throughout the beginning issues, and then ending was trash in my opinion. I'm not going to go as far as say it was trash, but I felt a bit let down. I don't know. I was expecting more to happen as opposed to just kind of easy way out for certain things. That's just my opinion, Chris. Chris, you've only read issue 1, correct?
Well, I only read issue 1 of the 3 Jokers, but now correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, 3 Joker. We're talking Joker War,
right? So is that not tying in?
No.
Okay.
I think it's intentional. We're not supposed to know what time period 3 Jokers is happening.
Right.
I'm confused by that too. I've read both of those. I've read both issues. I think, does issue 3 come out this week? I think it does. Let us know in the comments if it doesn't. But yeah, 3 Jokers is excellent too.
Yeah. You see, I originally thought that them coming up to the 3 Jokers was going to tie into Joker's War, as you have these 3 Jokers show up and really are the ones that are perpetuating everything going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, no. Again, that was my first question reading that first issue. What time period does this happen? Where's this happening? Et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, wait, Isaac says it doesn't come out this week. Bishner says it does come out on Tuesday. So we'll see. Isaac Maynard again. Hey, what's everybody wanted? The 1 and 3 Jokers to make 1 Joker. That's not what we got. Yeah, there's still multiple Jokers out there that, again, I'm excited to see how that kind of turns out. But anyways, we're about to turn out ourselves. This has been a fabulous, fantastic episode. Really appreciate Tom Tormey, as always, joining us and being part of the show with his Cosmic Minute. Really appreciated Tony from EGS stopping by and telling us about his grading services. Guys, check him out. There's a link below. Chris, how you doing?
Man, yeah, long week, long, awesome show. Ready to try to relax for the weekend, but we're getting prepared for a lot of things that are going on next week. I was going to do it this week, finally dropping my announcement for my 3,000 subscriber contest, guys. I just want to let you know really quickly, in brief, I will be posting a video on my channel next week. That's the main thing you guys need to look for. When we do that, you'll also see a video posted here on the Comic Book Canon YouTube as well, to let you guys know how you can enter to win. There'll be 2 separate prizes. With that being said, I will also come on my Friday live show, pre-Comic Book Canon show on my channel, to answer any questions. And hey, maybe on next week's show too, Jeff, if there's still more questions that folks might need to ask concerning that, we'll be here then as well. But yeah, look out on my channel and on the Comic Book Canon channel next week to see how you guys can enter the 3,000 subscriber Journos Comics contest for some really awesome prizes, guys. I'm going to be telling you guys most of what we're going to be giving away.
Super exciting stuff. Actually, why don't you show one of the things you're giving away? I think it's right by you.
You know what? Why not? See, since we had an awesome guest on tonight, we have sponsorships for the 3,000 subscriber contest. BCW, A1 Comics, and none other than EGS. So this will be part of the grand prize winning. This is a 9.8 Black Widow #1 J. Scott Campbell variant. Such a beautiful, beautiful book with a nice custom red label. Man, boy, do I wish that I could keep my hands on this, but guess what? It's going to somebody, some lucky somebody that's going to win that grand prize. So, and this ain't even it, guys. This is just one piece of the cake for sure.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us as you do every Friday. Really, 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 this is something Chris and I look forward to each and every week, is to hang out here, talk about comic books with you guys, and just grow this community even larger. We really appreciate all you guys that spend time with us. We wish you the best, and we will see you next Friday. Take care.